Crimson Moon Rising, written by Patricia Briggs. The forest slept under a crimson moon. Unearthly silence, heavy air, the stench of fear, metallic and sharp. Tonight was no ordinary night. Tonight the blood moon reigned. Deep in the woods a young she-wolf trembled. Her name was Lyra, daughter of the Alpha, and her amber eyes mirrored the unsettling moon. It was her first transformation under the blood moon, a night where primal instincts held sway. A twig snapped. Lyra whirled around, fangs bared. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall and imposing, pale skin, piercing blue eyes, an aura of power. A vampire. He was Lucian, the vampire lord of the Northern Coven. His reputation preceded him, ruthless, cunning, and undeniably powerful. His presence radiated an ancient, chilling aura. He was both alluring and terrifying. "You dare trespass on Packlands!" Lyra growled, voice low and menacing. Her muscles tensed, ready to strike. The blood moon amplified her aggression, urging her to attack. Lucian tilted his head, a hint of amusement in his eyes. "I come in peace, young Alpha," he purred, his voice a silken whisper that cut through the night. "At least for now." Lyra didn't relax. Vampire and werewolf relations were tense at best, openly hostile at worst. Centuries of bloodshed and mistrust weren't easily forgotten. "Why are you here?" Lyra demanded, her voice echoing in the stillness of the forest. The blood moon cast long, eerie shadows that danced around them. "Survival," Lucian stated simply. "The hunters, they are growing bolder." His words hung heavy in the air. Their common enemy, the one threat that could unite their warring factions. A tense silence descended upon them. The hunters, a formidable force driven by fanaticism, had grown increasingly aggressive in their pursuit of all things supernatural. Both vampires and werewolves had suffered losses. Lucian produced a silver knife, the moonlight glinting off its edge. He offered it to Lyra, handle first. A truce sealed in blood under the blood moon. His gaze held hers, steady and unwavering. Lyra hesitated. Trusting a vampire even for survival went against everything she had ever known. But the alternative, facing the hunters alone, was a grim prospect. She met his gaze, her own resolve hardening. Taking the knife, Lyra made a cut on her palm. Blood welled up, crimson under the red moon. Lucian followed suit, his blood a shade darker. Their hands met, blood mingling, a symbolic union under the watchful eyes of the blood moon. A pact was forged, fragile as spun glass, yet bound by the weight of their survival. They were bound, for better or for worse, to face the coming storm together. The howl split the night, chilling and desperate. Lyra's blood ran cold. It was her brother Kai. But the howl was laced with pain, with fear, betrayal. She whirled around, her senses screaming danger. Lucian was gone, vanished into the shadows as if he were never there. A wave of dizziness hit her, the forest spinning, poison, the silver knife. Her legs buckled, and the world dissolved into darkness. When Lyra awoke, bound and gagged, the answer was waiting. Her own uncle, power-hungry and ruthless, had betrayed them. He had struck a deal with the hunters, offering up Lyra and the Alpha in exchange for power. Rage, raw and primal, surged through her. Her wolf clawed at her insides, desperate to break free. But her captor had taken precautions. A silver collar bit into her skin, suppressing her wolf. Her gaze swept over the clearing, landing on the prone figure of her father, beaten and bloodied. Beside him stood Kai, his eyes filled with anguish and helplessness. Her heart ached. The sound of approaching footsteps sent a shiver down her spine. Two figures emerged from the trees. One was her uncle, a triumphant smirk plastered on his face. The other, Lucian. Her heart lurched. Had he played a part in this? Was their alliance nothing but a charade, a means to an end? The look in his eyes, unreadable and cold, did little to quell the suspicion gnawing at her. "You!" she spat, her voice a venomous hiss. "Did you know?" Were you part of this? Lucien's face remained impassive. He stepped forward, his gaze fixed on her uncle. You misunderstand, girl, he said, his voice dangerously low. I have no interest in the hunters' petty squabbles. He turned to her uncle, a chilling smile spreading across his lips. Our agreement was for information, not treachery. You overstepped. Before anyone could react, Lucien moved with a speed that defied comprehension. One moment he was standing still, the next he was upon her uncle, fangs glinting in the moonlight. Lyra watched in stunned silence as Lucien dispatched her uncle with a swiftness that spoke of centuries of honed skill. He moved with an almost predatory grace, his movements fluid and deadly. He turned to her, his expression unreadable. Consider this a debt repaid, he said, his voice devoid of emotion. He knelt and removed the silver collar, his touch surprisingly gentle. You were right to doubt my motives, young Alpha. But know this, I always honor my bargains. Lyra, free from the collar's suppressing hold, felt the familiar surge of power as her wolf rose within her. She met Lucien's gaze, a flicker of understanding passing between them. They were enemies, yes, but tonight, they were united by a common enemy. And sometimes the enemy of your enemy. The howls of approaching hunters ripped through the night, a chilling reminder of the danger that lurked. Lyra and Lucien exchanged a look, a silent acknowledgement of the battle to come. Tonight they would fight side by side. Tonight they would stand together against the encroaching darkness. And maybe, just maybe, this unlikely alliance would forge a new path, a glimmer of hope for a future where vampires and werewolves could coexist.